Hello, beautiful community. Mariupol, Mr. Putin. Um, is the visit real? Is the visit real? It looks like it, yeah. I mean, Putin has doubles, but you don't see them when you're dealing with close ups of Putin. And if you spent too much time looking at Putin over 30 years, would you notice that that's not him uh, in a close up picture? Yeah, you would. So you should assume if there are close-ups of Putin that there aren't doubles at hand. And is he really in Mariupol? Well, as far as we can see, that's what it clearly looks like. And why is he in Mariupol? Well, from a safety point of view, he's in Mariupol because he should go to Bakhmut, but he can't. So he's chosen the most safe of the unsafe places to visit. So, should you for now assume it's the real thing, in the sense that it's Putin and Mariupol? Yes. Should you assume that anything else is real in these pictures? No. This is not a Zelensky situation where what you see is what's really there. Assume that everything that you're seeing is theater and that it's falsified, either because the people are fulfilling a professional function, they aren't real, the people in the shots, or because they've been appropriately prepped and vetted and so on. So, yes, it's Putin. Yes, it's Putin in Mariupol as far as we can see, but the whole thing is some kind of a bogus stage setup. Now, what is going on there? Why is he doing this? And what's the target of this, and is it effective? I think that one story is the re-mythization of Mariupol, actually. I mean, we know what an extraordinary place it is now. Do Russians know what really happened there? Do the majority of the depoliticized Russians know what really happened in Mariupol? At least kind of, because as we've always made clear, what you've got in Russia is depoliticization, right? Not ignorance and lack of access to information. There is that too, but basically what you're dealing with is not a sort of information poverty, you're dealing with denial and evasion. And denial and evasion presuppose that you kind of do know what you are avoiding, your gaze, what you're avoiding with the aversion of your gaze. And so the remythization is to say, well, yes, there may be all of this extraordinary darkness there, but now we're talking about Mariupol seen beyond the context of the war, a city that is coming out of that experience, renormalizing, and looking forward to a future under the guidance of a caring and attending father, Mr. Putin, who's out there to make sure that everything is going on all right. Obviously, that's a bunch of bull, but that is the propaganda message. Now, another thing that clearly is going on is the debunkerization of Putin. Because this bunker story that he is saddled with is now not really working at all for the radicals who are going to be Putin's main domestic opposition in 2023. If Putin is orchestrating these policies, which seem to be partly failing, where is he? Why isn't he there to back it up? And you've got Mr. Zelensky on the other side, putting his neck on the line, but Mr. Putin is sitting on the ground somewhere, metaphorically. So that has been seen to no longer work, and you've got to get Putin out and about. Don't forget there's an election in 2024 as well. And the election is not there to decide who's going to be president. It's not a real election. But the election is there as an obstacle for the regime, nevertheless, because they've got to get through it with some kind of ritual of acclamation, confirmation that, as it were, the tyrant decides he's going to stay on as the tyrant, but then the people need to be seen by most of the people most of the time as okaying that. So there are vulnerabilities there for a regime like that, not because there's any reality to the election, but because elections are important rituals for regimes like that. So Mr. Putin is getting more out and about, but also I think he is expanding his repertoire from war leader or from special military operation leader, as that's conveyed to the Russian population, to a leader who is doing civic things, civilian things too. And that's very much what that propaganda trick with this Mariupol visit is about. That it's not just to paint Putin out and about, in a supposedly reconstituting city coming out of a dark period on which they're blaming Ukrainians. But it's that this whole picture is meant to be thought of not as a war picture, but as a post-war picture. And I do think there is a kind of effectiveness there as far as the depoliticized majority of the Russian population goes. They're in denial. They kind of know that something really not good is happening. They're mostly looking away. And this image of the caring, paternal figure of Mr. Putin, who's there not just as war leader, is reassuring and addresses a kind of nostalgia that I suspect is present in that group. I'm not going off any social science research here, just going off my own experience over the years. And that is that they might be feeling a kind of nostalgia for early Putin. So there was a little bit of satisfaction of nostalgia for early Putin. Putin going around, checking that everything is going okay, and reassuring the country that he's got its back. So that, I think, is some of the propaganda, some of the propaganda techniques that this is all about. And they're going to reassess, and then they're going to play it again and see what happens. So there's clearly a sort of messaging and pictorial evolution, when it comes to the way Putin is presenting himself, and that's what that was all about. Talk very soon.